The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Pauline Verzosa. Don't forget to bring your umbrellas because most parts of the country will experience isolated rain showers and thunderstorms today. Based on the latest Pagasa forecast, we will most likely experience rain on noon and night. Pagasa said this is due to the localized thunderstorms. But before this, we will experience a hot afternoon due to the easterlies or the wind coming from the Pacific Ocean. No low pressure area is being monitored outside the Philippine area of responsibility as of the moment. Pagasa is now using a new weather monitoring system that will help them better prepare for La Nina. And to know more about this, we have Mobile Journal Francis Orsio joining us via Zoom. Francis, good morning. Ito na nga, rainy season in the Philippines at paparating na ang La Nina. But what can you tell us about this new monitoring system ng Pagasa at bakit ito importante?
Yes, Pauline, ito ang monitoring system ng Pagasa na in-introduce with the Mapua University last Friday ay isang monitoring system na kung tawagin nga ay WELO. So WELO stands for Weather, Environment, and Hydromet Localized Monitoring System. So isa itong bagong monitoring system, Pauline, na makakatulong para nga dito sa paghahanda sa La Nina. Dahil kasi mismong Pagasa na ang nagsabi na kulang pa sila sa mga kagamitan and equipment across the country pagdating sa pag-monitor ng weather. And this new technology will help them para magkaroon ng mas handa na augmentation measures pagdating dito sa La Nina, and at the same time mas maging tama yung pag-response pagdating sa disaster risk reduction operations ng ating gobyerno sa iba't ibang LGUs. So malaking bagay ito po din para dito sa paghahandaan natin sa La Nina.
Francis, clarify ko lang, no? Ano siya, WELO?
Yes, WELO.
WELO. And handa na ito. Is it ready to be used already? Kasi itong La Nina, sabi nga ng Pag-asa, pwede na yan asahan either late June or July, di ba? Ready na ba siya gamitin as early as this year?
Actually, Pauline, there are already 3 areas na, strategic areas na meron ng naka-install na WELO. Actually, halimbawa dito sa may Nueva Ecija, sa may particularly sa Pantabangan kung saan meron ng 5 stations na naka-install ang Pagasa or ang DOST para ma-monitor naman yung etong hydrometeorology or yung mismong water level ng Pantabangan Dam. At meron din dito sa may Angat, Bulacan kung saan monitor naman yung agriculture. Kasi hindi lang ito para sa lagay ng panahon, makakatulong din ito to better monitor yung agricultural system ng ating bansa kasi malalaman nito yung kondisyon ng lupa, kung ano yung dapat na response or dapat gawin doon sa mga pananim. Tapos meron na din sa may General Nakar at Infanta Quezon kung saan minomonitor naman dito yung disaster risk reduction preparations ng LGU dito kasi isa ito sa strategic area kung saan dahil nasa upstream sa kabundukan doon nanggagaling yung mga pag-uulan, malalaman kung ano yung magiging epekto ng nitong ulan sa mga nasa kapatagan, kung gaano karami yung babagsak na tubig, paano dapat ito paghahandaan. So ito yung mga 3 areas na nasa pilot study ngayon ng Pagasa at ng DOST para makita natin kung gaano talaga kalaki yung maitutulong nitong WELO.
Francis, ito, interested ako, no? Locally made ba itong weather monitoring system na ito or in-import yan galing sa ibang bansa or proud Pinoy, proud na gawa yan natin?
Actually, Pauline, since this is a 100% or in-invent siya ng Mapua University, ito ay 100% Filipino made kasi kahit yung mga mismong hardware or yung mga equipment na ginamit to build this equipment or yung technology ay locally manufactured. Kaya masasabi natin na ito ay 100% Filipino-owned at invented.
Wow, nakaka-proud naman talaga malaman yan. Ito, Francis, ano rin, gaano ba kalaking pondo ang nilabas din ng Pag-asa rito? Sabi mo nga, made in Mapua yan. So mga, syempre, estudyante, mga engineers, ganyan. Pero in collaboration with Pag-asa, gaano kalaking pondo yung ginamit? At pwede rin ba yan, halimbawa, gamitin rin sa mga LGU para mas maraming mga kababayan natin ang makagamit niyan?
Itong proyektong MELO, Pauline, ay dahil funded siya ng DOST, PSHERD, or ng itong Department of Science and Technology, ay nasa 15 million pesos yung naging pondo in partnership din dito sa Mapua University kasi kumbaga nagkaroon ng proposal pa yan kung ano yung magiging project and ano yung magiging benepisyo nito. And binigyan sila ng fund ng Department of Science and Technology. And itong proyekto na ito ay specifically ginawa para sa mga LGUs or doon sa mga local government units kasi dahil aminado nga yung Pagasa na kulang sila sa mga kagamitan across the country kasi kinakailangan natin ng iba't ibang mga weather stations sa mga LGUs lalo na doon sa mga pinaka-affected ng mga halimbawa calamities or ng mga pag-uulan. Kailangan natin lagyan or installan ito ng mga weather stations and itong WELO dahil nga ginawa ito specifically for the LGUs, malaking tulong ito para sa data gathering ng Pagasa at mas magkaroon nga ng mas mabilis na paghahanda at tamang preparations kung ano yung mga response na kailangan gawin ng each LGUs, kung ano man yung specific na problems na makaharap nila kung sakaling halimbawa ito nga dumating yung La Nina. Ayun, Pauline.
Ayan, maraming salamat, Francis. Gaya nga ng sinabi mo, malaking bagay talaga ito sa paghahanda natin dito sa rainy season. So again, maraming salamat, Mobile Journal, Francis Orsio. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Pauline Verzosa. 5 out of 10 Filipinos are in favor of legalizing divorce for irreconcilably separated couples. Based on the latest SWS survey, 50% of the respondents agreed that married couples who have separated and cannot reconcile should be allowed to file for divorce. 31% disagreed, while 17% are still undecided. The survey was conducted from March 21 to 25, a month before the lower chamber approved the absolute divorce bill. UP Law Senior Lecturer Attorney Virginia Viray weighs in on talks surrounding the divorce bill. Here's an excerpt from her interview on The Big Story.
Let's tackle some of these arguments that the lawmakers are throwing at us one by one. The very first one has to do with divorce law not being needed, considering that we already have annulment. That's an argument that Senate President Chis Escudero has made. He says we should just make more affordable annulment. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, first off, I disagree with a good senator. I think that misses the point about the core issue about annulment. He said that we should just make it affordable, but it doesn't address the fact that the problem with annulment is that the offended spouse will have to prove that the offending spouse, the psychological incapacity of the offending spouse, was already existent at the time of the celebration of marriage. And that is very difficult to prove. No?
How much typically does annulment cost and how tedious is the process?
Prior to a recent case, it was mandatory. That's the party trying to prove psychological incapacity had to hire a psychologist or a psychiatrist to prove the psychological incapacity. Of course, recently, it's no longer mandatory, but you still have to prove it one way or the other. It is typical for a case to last for several years. So imagine the legal cost. Typically, that would be at least 300,000 minimum for you to get an annulment.
Is it possible to divorce the state from the church? For example, legalize divorce for the state. For those who get civil marriages, don't legalize it for those who have church weddings. Is it possible to make that separation? Because it is, marriage is very, the sanctity of marriage must be honored according to religion. But how about those who have a different belief?
Yes. Well, we all have enjoyed the free exercise of religion and worship, and that is worthy of respect. One thing to note, even in the case of declaration of nullity of marriage, under Article 36, for instance, even if you get annulled, that is a civil annulment, and the church does not recognize that. So there is really no reason to conflate the civil aspect of the divorce and annulment as to the civil aspect.
Alas, Pilipinas fell short against powerhouse China in the 2024 AVP Cup Challenge for men in Bahrain. The national men's volleyball team put a gallant fight against China despite a straight set loss, 19-25, 22-25, 22-25. Alas, Pilipinas tried to capitalize on China's errors all throughout the game, but China's offense was too much for the Pinoy Spikers. They will try to bounce back tomorrow as they face host country Bahrain. First serve is at 12 midnight Philippine time, and you can watch the games live on One Sports and the Pilipinas Live app. And those are the top stories of the hour. I'm Pauline Verzosa. We are One News.